Today we discuss the Fillet command. Now the Fillet command is located within the Modify panel within the Home tab. Right here. So again, if you just, as we mentioned in other videos, if you let your mouse sit on the icon, you will receive a dialog box. And the dialog box gives you all the information about this command. In this case, it's called the Fillet command, and we have the definition of more or less of what it does, and then an example of how it does what it does, with also a picture, which is very nice. Now there are two ways to activate the Fillet command. The first way is to click the command icon itself. If you look in the command bar, this is how you know which command is active. Only one command at a time will be active. So I'm going to hit escape, the escape key on the keyboard. That cancels the command. The second way is to type in the word fillet. There it is. I'm going to hit escape to clear this. Now here's a note. If you wish to select the icon to activate the command, notice there's a drop down arrow beside of that icon. If I click it, you're going to see there are three total commands. Now notice if I hit blend curves, the Fillet command icon is no longer there as the default. Instead now it is blend curves. So just be mindful that if you are doing by clicking the icon to activate the Fillet command, just be aware that there's this drop down arrow and that the Fillet command may not be the default command in that space. So in our case, I'm going to click the Fillet command and then do nothing. Because remember, the Fillet command is a modification command. It modifies geometry that I have not even drawn yet. So if you want to follow along, select line command, click the line command icon, click anywhere on the screen here, and then I'm holding my cursor straight down. Now if you want this green line to indicate this specific degree of 270 degrees, come down here just under the command bar. You'll see this little icon here where my mouse is. This is polar tracking. You want to make sure that it is highlighted. And if you wish to copy me exactly, select the 15-degree increments. Okay. Now back here, I'm drawing a line that is 3 inches down. The line command is still active. I'm going to orient my line to the right and type in 3, enter. So by typing in 3, enter, this is direct dimensioning, and by having the polar tracking on, it eliminates me also having to specify the degree that the line will extend in or towards. Now my mouse is going up. My line is going up because my cursor is pointing upwards. I'm going to type 3, enter, and then go to the left, 3, enter. Cool. Now we have a 3 by 3 square. From here, let's type in the word fillets. Now, notice here it is the active command, and then it prompts me with what to do. Select first object, or, and then I have these options, these 5 options. So what I'm going to do first, well, before I even do that, look just above the command bar. Current settings, mode, trim, radius, 1 inch. So right here, let's just go ahead and do radius, just so we get the idea of what the fillet command actually does, and put it into action. I'll do 0.5 instead of 1. Now I am prompted to select the first object. So here what we want to do is select the object that helps to, or that makes the part or the area of this figure that I wish to round. So in this case, the corners are the part of this object that I want to round off, because right now they are pretty sharp. So I'm going to select a line, and I'm just going to focus on this top left corner. So my first object is a line that helps to create that top left corner. Now, once I've selected the first object, the command bar tells me to select the second object. So I select the other line that helps to create the top left corner. Now notice I have not, well, it's already done something, and I haven't actually clicked that second object yet. Because notice that there's still that faded version of the original corner. So it's faded, meaning that this is kind of the preview of what's about to happen if I select this as my second object. And that is what I want, so I will select it. Now notice the preview is gone. It has done what it was intended to. It did round the corner. Also notice that in the command bar, the command is no longer active. Alright, so I'm going to control Z on the keyboard. That undoes what I've just done. I unrounded the corner. Let's type fillet again. Now this time I'm going to select the trim option, and I'm prompted with two options here, to either trim or no trim. Well, we've already trimmed. Trim is the default setting. We see that right here in current settings. Mode is trim. So let's see what it looks like when we select no trim. I select no trim. I go to my radius. This time I'll call it 1. So type 1, enter. And now I'm prompted to select my first object. Again, we'll just stick with the top left corner. I'll select my two lines. And notice this time, the original corner did not disappear. It was not trimmed when this fillet was created. So I'll either have to go in later to trim it, or I don't know, maybe I don't want it to trim at all. Maybe I'm just trying to create some interesting geometry. Regardless, this is what no trim does. So I'm going to control Z that. I'm going to type in fillet once more. This time I'm going to select the multiple option. And I'll do a radius of, I'll just keep it at 1. By not clicking radius, my default will just be the radius of 1 in this case. So I'll select my first object. Again, we'll do top left corner. I'll select my two lines. But notice now in the command bar, the command is still active because I've selected multiple, which will allow me to select as many corners as I want, or in a different case, maybe you've drawn something differently, where you can just continuously draw fillets or create fillets from drawn geometry. And so here I will just keep going around the shape, rounding all corners. Now notice I've rounded all corners and the command is still active because it doesn't know any better. You have to tell the software here when to cancel this command at this point. So that's what I wanted, so I now hit escape. Command is canceled. Now I'm going to undo all of it. Okay, there we go. I'm going to type in fillet again. And this time I'm going to select polyline. Okay, radius, I'll just keep it default to 1. Select 2D polyline. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. And I'll come up here and Oh, okay. I can't click it. So if you're running into this problem, what it means is you're not selecting a polyline. You're selecting a line. So let's hit escape. Let's go up to polyline, the polyline command, and click the icon. Now right here, what we're going to do is I'm just going to track over that corner, and I'm going to draw, I'm going just to click a point, and I'm going to orient my cursor down at that 270 degrees and type in 3, and then go right at 3, up at 3, and then back to the left at 3. Okay, so I've drawn an identical box, a 3x3 square, and now I'm going to type in fillet. I'm going to select polyline. I'll keep the radius at 1. That's fine. We'll stay with the default 1 radius and the default trim, so I won't worry that no trim's not selected. And now it says it prompts me to select 2D polyline. Well, now again, over here you can see my mouse is sitting on the line and nothing happens. Now if I go over to the polyline, my mouse just sits here and every corner is now filleted. But notice I haven't actually clicked it yet. I haven't locked in the command. That's why you still see the corners. This is the preview of what it could be once I click now. Locks it in. Let's check out one more thing with the polyline though. I'm going to draw a 3 down, a 3 to the right, and then I'm going to hit escape because maybe I got distracted, had to go do something else for a second. I come back and I go, oh man, I got to finish drawing this thing. So I will just pick up where I left off. I'll go 3 up from that corner, 3 to the left. Hey, okay, that looks like the other boxes I've drawn before. And then I know I need to round these corners off, so I'll hit fillet, and it's, yeah, I drew the polyline. So I'll select polyline option. I'm sticking with the default radius of 1, and I come up to hit this polyline. Okay, it's acting differently than the original polyline square. It's only rounding 1 and not all corners. So, okay, it's kind of odd. And I come over here. Okay, it's still only rounding the bottom left when I want it to round the bottom right. That's odd. I click the top. Oh, that one's working. But the other one's not working. So what's happened here is this is not one continuous polyline. So a continuous polyline was not used to create this shape like it was for this shape. So again, it's only going to round the corners that is created by a polyline. If I select the polyline option, now we have one more option under fillet. I have undo. Okay, so let's hit undo now. Command has been completely undone. That's what it says. Cool. Nothing happened. And nothing will happen. So undo. So let's come back to our original square. I'm going to type in fillet. Undo only works when the command is still active. And the only way the command stays active is if I have selected multiple. So I've selected multiple, mode is still trim, radius is still 1. I will do the top corner as always. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to round that top corner. Maybe I meant to round the bottom or another corner. So while the command's still active and I hit undo, it undoes, and look, it even says command has been completely undone. So I still get the same notification, but this time something actually happened. So that's the difference between undone. If I just type fillet and just select undone, nothing happens because there's nothing to undo. Because once I hit escape, the command is no longer active. There's nothing that undo can do at this point. Undo within the fillet command, that is. Not undo as the command as the undo command itself. So that's pretty much it for fillet. Try to rewatch the video if you need to. Follow along. Create each of these 3 squares and just get a real feel for how to handle the fillet command.